So the first question is, what is the grossest thing you did or ate while on trail? We're getting right
Mm,
into it.
yeah, well, the grossest thing I did was in my tent in a very, very crowded tent site. It was at Kennedy Meadows South. The tents were like on each other. I mean, it was crowded, and I didn't feel comfortable going out to pee because there was no space around. It was all open. So I did pee in a Ziploc bag in my tent. And I kept it up like it has to stay up. I mean, very well sealed. So yeah, that was kind of gross. But the grossest thing was actually not from me, but from a deer in the wilderness, not at a crowded camp. But I was alone in that tent site. A deer came up in the middle of the night, drinking my pee, like a few meters away from my tent. That was the grossest moment. I was like, ew, you're cute, but not anymore.
Yeah, I remember that. Did you say that was in NorCal?
Yes, in NorCal. Yep. There was a lot of deers there.
There were a lot of deer. Yeah, I had deer stalking me when I would go
Yeah.
pee because
Yeah, they
they
were
knew.
looking at me.
Yes, they were stalking. So, yeah, I get that.
The pea addicted deers of NorCal. Yep.
That's right. I know they need to put salt licks out there or something for them.
Maybe it was the
Support,
strawberry electrolytes I drank. I don't know.
maybe. Yeah,
But
maybe
that
they
was
can.
gross,
Maybe it's
definitely.
flavored. Yeah,
Hmm.
maybe it's like a flavored thing for them. Who knows? But okay, I'm impressed by the Ziploc bag too. Wow.
It was really risky, but I managed to keep my tent dry. I mean,
Yeah, you did
that
it.
worked.
You did it. Great. Okay, so next question is, are you ultralight or you don't care? UL or don't care?
I need to be light to be comfortable, but I'm not a UL fanatic. I mean, back home in Canada, I'm considered as an ultralight because ultralight is not a big thing in here. But on trail, I was a really average light hiker. I don't really mind about UL. My value is to be comfortable with what I have, and being light is also part of the comfort. So it's the balance between both, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of hikers actually say that.
Yeah.
They're not super heavy, but they're also not technically ultra light. So,
Mm-hmm.
yep, great. Okay, boots or trail runners?
Trail runners. I can't do boots. I just can't. Blisters, heat. Ugh. Yeah.
So, what brand is your preference for your trail runners?
I did wear the same exact brand and model the whole way. I destroyed 5 pairs, 4.5 pairs. It was the Salomon Ultra Glide. So Salomon are not very common on trail. I do have a weak arch, so I needed something that supports my feet more than the ultras. I can't do zero drop. I know I tried minimalistic running before in my life. It just doesn't fit me. So I need something with a good support, and yeah, and I can still feel the ground.
Right. Do you use insoles as well, or no insoles? It's just the shoe.
No insoles. I used what's in the shoe. They fit me perfectly. I didn't change the recipe, so it was as is.
Yeah, don't mess with that. Okay, got
Nope,
it.
don't mess with the perfect recipe.
Oh. Okay, last rapid fire is stove or cold soak?
Stove. My stove is so tiny. I don't see how I can like not carry it. And also, I like as many most of the hiker do. I love to have my warm meal at the end of the day, something warm, and my hot coffee in the morning too. I can't cold soak coffee.
That's that seems to be the norm.
Mm-hmm.
The norm. Yep. Great. Okay. So let's get into the 10 questions. So the first one is, how did you get your trail name? Stitch.
Stitch. It was because of a trail angel. Actually, when I was in Julian, the first town of the desert, there was a wool shop at the yarn and wool and knitting shop, and it was closed that day. And I was sad. I was like, oh my God, I miss knitting. And the trail angel asked me, what will you miss the most on trail? I was like, actually, I'm afraid to lose my knitting and crocheting skills. He heard that, and next town in the Mazama village at mile 100, he brought me a huge ball of yarn with needles, like plastic needles from Walmart. I was so happy with that. And he says, like, now you can knit on trail. You have to carry it. No, so I started knitting on trail, doing, stitching. And I was stitching beanies for my friends. And the name came out at Big Bear. Someone called me Stitch. And that was it. That sticks.
That's perfect. So did you knit all the way up the trail or just for a portion of the trail?
I knitted most of the desert. I continued in the Sierra. I got new wool, like more fancy wool and more ultralight needles in Bishop. There was another wool shop that was open that day. So I upgraded my knitting gear on the course of time. But in NorCal, in Oregon, I started to do big days and like longer days. So I didn't really continue. But in Washington, I pick it up again. And I think I knitted like 4 beanies on trail so far.
Wow. So I'm so interested in this. How long I know you were hiking, but how long did it take you to knit like one beanie?
The 2 first one took 200 miles each.
Okay.
So
All
it's
right.
not a continue. I don't knit while I walk, just to be clear. It's too dangerous if you fell in, I don't know, needles, whatever. So I do it just at camp when I have time and want to relax, and in town too, in 0 days.
Yeah. Awesome. That's a great story. And your trail family totally lucked out with you too. They got like beanies and stuff.
They got a great souvenir, and I found little leather tag that says Sierra made to put on the beanies. So that's something unique. Yeah, that's a great souvenir.
So unique. Okay, well, if you ever need another trail family member, hi.
All right.